Yeah. Crack open the champagne. Yeah. DMG, baby, nigga.
Certainly I am on the path of a king, and tonight is no different. See the lights, cameras. Certainly I know that tomorrow is a might, so I stay up on the scene, disregard of this stuff. Certainly I'm getting better every year with every new endeavor. The greats near. Certainly I will.
Smoker blow my mind, it blow my mind, and I can't get a 9 to 5, so fuck a 9 to 5. If y'all wondering what I be playing, man, I'm usually playing either my music or my brother's music, MDMG. You know, we try pretty hard, you know, to get the little music shit cracking, man. My brother's probably one of the best artists, you know, and this ain't just me talking, man, because if he was trash, I'd tell him he was trash. My brother's probably one of the top 5 artists I've ever been around, probably top 5 artists I've ever known, you know, period, as far as musically, you know, and that includes Jay, Pop, Big, you know, he's top 5 in my book, like, hands down. Anyway, welcome back to Chi-Bred World Fed TV. It's been a minute, man. Haven't had a chance to get any editing done, so hopefully we're gonna get some shit done today and then start giving you guys some weekly film every week. I haven't talked to you guys, you know, in a while as far as kind of what's been going on in the world. You know, one of the biggest things that I wanted to touch on is Afghanistan and us finally getting the hell up out of Afghanistan, Iraq, the Middle East, period. So I'm gonna start off like this. A majority of this country's wars began on 9/11, September 11th, 2001. That day, I remember that day very vividly. We were actually in Pia, which is basically dry dock, rehabbing a ship because we had got back from Westpac the previous year. My first deployment, Westpac 2000. My war actually began then. People that was on board my ship, people that was in my battle group, our war actually began in 2000, in October of 2000, or September, October of 2000 to be specific. And that is what began our war for us when the USS Cole got bombed. The USS Cole got bombed, and they were in our battle group, and we were actually in Jabal Ali a couple of weeks prior to the USS Cole being bombed. This is all Indian Ocean, Arabian Ocean, Red Sea, Yemen, Jabal Ali. These are all ports that's in this area. We were actually supposed to come back to Jabal Ali because basically on that deployment we were supposed to hit a bunch of ports, and a bunch of shit happened. A bunch of hurricanes and shit happened. A bunch of crazy shit happened, and we didn't hit a bunch of the ports that we were supposed to hit. We hit Hawaii. Well, actually, we hit San Diego first. We started our deployment off in August, I believe. Yeah, August of 2000. We hit Hawaii first. We hit San Diego first. We hit Hawaii. And then after that, we were supposed to hit Japan. We were supposed to hit Singapore. A bunch of hurricanes and shit happened. And a bunch of other crazy shit happened, and we ended up missing all those fucking all those ports to the point that we had a beer day. A beer day is basically a day that you have that's like a free day when you're out to sea after you've been out to sea consecutively for 45 days. We actually had multiple beer days on that deployment just because of missing all those ports, and then the USS Cole being bombed. With the USS Cole being bombed, that kicked off the war for us, which was 2000, man. Basically, we're in September now, so 21 years ago. On that deployment, I actually lost a friend of mine's that went to boot camp with me. He was on the USS Cole. They literally brought those guys' bodies onto our ship. So we were, you know what I'm saying, we was hot. We was ready to go to war then. My very next deployment, after 2001, which was 2002, my very next deployment is when we basically technically went to war, even though our war had began in 2000. You know, we had started sending, dropping bombs and sending special forces over after the USS Cole got bombed. But the official war began in 2003 on my last deployment. And on that deployment, we left in July, I believe, of 2000, and didn't get home until May of the next year. And that was the mission accomplished deployment. That was the deployment that Bush flew on our ship with the banner on the background saying mission was accomplished, and they said all of the war had ended, even though the war had just began. All that bunch of bullshit. Basically what they told us when we were deployed was that the mission accomplished banner was for us because we had been the longest carrier that had been out to sea on deployment since Vietnam, since we did damn near a year deployment. So I'm saying all of that, you know, and kind of giving you the history, you know, and of course I'm going to go back and talk about a lot more of my Lincoln history and a lot more of my deployments and time in, but I'm specifically talking about all of this time frame is because I'm gonna take you, I'm gonna put you guys into the space that I'm thinking right now. Okay, my first deployment, I was 18, 2000. USS Cole got bombed. I was 18 years old. All right, what the fuck are you doing? Damn, these people out here can drive. 18. Hadn't even turned 19 yet. Had just turned 18 when I was on leave in that July. And we ended up going overseas on my first deployment in August. So I had just turned 18. I was 17 years old in 2000, waiting to turn 18. Basically completing my first year in the Navy. My second deployment, when we went to war, 2002, 2003, we went from Operation Enduring Freedom to Operation Shock and Awe to Operation Iraqi Freedom, which is what you guys know today, OIF. So I was initially in OEF, SNA, and OIF. Now you got guys that had been in OEF, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Shock and Awe, Operation Iraqi Freedom, then Operation Afghanistan. Okay, these are all different operations. These are all different little wars and big wars. This shit started for some of us, a majority of the people that, you know, I'm gonna talk about. This shit started for us in 2000. All right, it was 18. My last deployment, I was 20, 2002 to 2003. I was on my way out the Navy. All right, 20 years old. Yeah, I went in the Navy at 17, so I got out pretty much active duty at 21. When Bush flew on our ship, I was 20 years old. 20. I am 39 now. This is 2021. I'm 39 years old. The Great War, World War I, was what, 1917 to 1921? Something like that. World War II, 1941 to 1945. The Korean War, don't remember the dates, it was in the 50s, but it was only 2 years. Vietnam, it's a nice ass scat pad. Vietnam was from, and it wasn't a war, all right? It was a police action. Vietnam was from what, 65, 66, I'm not sure the dates, to maybe 71. So all of these great wars, all of these wars that we lost, mass casualties, things like, what's the word that I'm looking for? PTSD, hadn't been developed yet. So things like shell shock, I forgot some of the things that they said that you came back with when you came back from World War I, Vietnam, all of those things that caused a lot of mental anguish and mental health issues with all of our vets. All of those wars, that they started developing those things and studying those things, all of those wars were between 3 and 7 years. Think about that. 3 and 7 years. All right? You had guys that was going to Vietnam that are fucked up to this day that only did one deployment. One. And I'm not telling y'all that Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Shock and all of those things were as bloody and as gory and as fucked up as Vietnam, because Vietnam was fucked up. World War II was fucked up. Korea, which a lot of people don't talk about, Korea was horrible, all right? You had guys that were dying, freezing to death, being stuck. Okay, don't you know how we used to play with the little green soldiers, stuck in positions and shit? You had guys in the Korean War that were literally dying just like that in those positions, freezing to death before they even had a chance to get shot and killed. All right, so those wars are fucked up. Don't get it twisted. Operation Iraqi Freedom began in 2003. Operation Shock and Awe began in 2003. Operation Enduring Freedom began in, I don't know when, but my first one was 2000. All right. All of these wars, Afghanistan, all of these things began in the early 2000s. We talking about throwback jerseys, goddamn rockaware jean outfits, B-boots, lugs, wearing shit 2-3 times your size. You know what I mean? Getting a pair of Jordans for a $1.08. All right, we talking that time frame. If those wars that lasted 3 to 7 years did so much damage to people that had only been deployed one time, how much damage do you think has been done to my generation that's been deployed 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 10 times? You had guys that would spend a year at home, go back to Iraq, a year at home, go back to Iraq. Do you know how hard it is to shut off that switch? To say, I'm at home now. I don't have to worry about my 6. I don't have to worry about being downrange. I don't have to worry about people shooting at me. I don't have to worry about an IED everywhere I drive. Every time I see a loose bag on the ground, every time I see some wire sticking out that's not an IED. I came home an alcoholic and messed up from my last deployment. And I was only deployed technically at war for about 5 months. All right, even though it was a year deployment, damn near. Operation Iraqi Freedom, when we started dropping bombs over Baghdad, didn't begin until what? January of 2003? We left in May? And I came home fucked up. Like, fucked up. You know what I mean? Bad decisions, wasn't ready to be a husband, wasn't ready to be a father, only concerned with myself, and a full-blown raging alcoholic. I came home toe up. Magnified me by 100 times. And that's what you got coming home after this 20+ year war. I know it sucks that we lost guys at that airport. I know it sucks that we left a bunch of fucking equipment, because that's what we do anyway. Every war that we leave, it costs too much to bring the shit back. So we leave pretty much everything that we don't deem as necessity over there. For the most part, we blow up a bunch of shit that is necessity, but it's too much to bring us back. So we don't want China or Russia getting their hands on it. So we'll destroy it. But for the most part, we don't bring that shit back. So I know it may look like, yeah, Biden is leaving, is basically arming Afghanistan and shit. Technically, we did. We armed the Afghani War Department. We armed the Afghanistan army. And them punks that we've been training for 20 years let it go. But we didn't leave Afghanistan with the shit that we would fucking dominate another country with. We left them with our basics. It's a bunch of shit, don't get it twisted, but it's our basic equipment. All right? We needed to get the hell up out of Afghanistan. We need to get the hell up out of the Middle East. All right? All of those wars that we fought, World War I, World War II, we were fighting different countries. We were fighting their military. We were fighting their Department of Defense. We were fighting their Department of the Navy, Department of the Army. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, ISIS, the Taliban. You're not fighting a different department. You're not fighting the department of the Taliban. You're not fighting the department of the army. You're fighting an ideology. You're fighting guys that have been thinking and fighting this way since the Holy Wars. Think about that. The Holy Wars. You're not beating them. Russia didn't beat them. We didn't beat them. Forget some of the other countries, France or whoever that tried to go into Vietnam and that tried to go into Afghanistan. They didn't beat those people because you're not fighting another army. You're fighting an ideology. You're fighting people that think, I'm going to be better off in heaven with 32 virgins than I am here. And then on top of that, you're fighting a people, and this is no disrespect to the Afghanistan people, but you're fighting a people that are basically 90% illiterate. Okay? Most of the guys out there have a 3rd grade education. So no, they crazy. They don't want their women to be smarter than them. That's why they stop their women from going to school. These guys have 3rd grade educations as their highest level of education. All right? Then on top of that, you put an ideology and you beat it and implant it into these people's heads over generations and generations and generations and generations. You're not gonna beat that. So why keep fighting it? It was time to get out of Afghanistan. It was time to get out of Iraq. It's time to stop trying to police this damn world. Because every time we police this world, we lose good people. We lose people that shouldn't have been over there in the first place, fighting a war that we shouldn't have been in the first place. Afghanistan ain't have nothing to do with 9/11. The people that bombed 9/11, the people that ran the planes into the building are from Saudi Arabia, our allies. Think about that. We went into Iraq. Saddam ain't have shit to do with fucking 9/11. Saddam was actually hunting the Taliban, was hunting Al Qaeda. They were fighting them. Iraq could have been an ally. Instead, we went in there, caused some mass chaos, killed millions of people, lost thousands of people to do nothing. And we did the same exact shit in Afghanistan. For what? For what? That's my feelings on the entire Afghanistan thing, man. I know this is a long-winded, you know what I mean? I know this is a lot of things to say, you know, but it is what it is, man. That's just what I feel. All right, man. Y'all stay up. Chi-Bred World Fed TV. Y'all go ahead and holler back at me, man. I'll get to you guys later.
I can remember looking up at the sky.
Rose are bitch.
I can remember looking up at the sky. Sky fly. I can remember